Let's foray into Nevada's wild spaces. This is a half-an-hour adventure with the Nevada Department of Wildlife. This is Nevada Wild.
Here on this mountain top, I got some wild, wild life. Wow. I got some news to tell about some wild, wild life.
Welcome to Nevada Wild, brought to you by the Nevada Department of Wildlife. I'm your host, Aaron Keller, joined by Bobby Jones. He's the Outdoor Connection Coordinator for the department. And we have a special guest right from our Conservation Education Division. It's Jamie Roice-Gomes. She's our Public Information Officer overseeing our publications. So that's a long title. Public Information Officer that oversees our publications for the department.
Hello.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Walking down the hall.
I know, it was a long walk.
So Jamie's position in the department is I wouldn't say necessarily unique, but it oversees a lot of different things. She kind of has her hands in some of our social media, some of our website, a lot of our kind of media organization. By media, I mean like photos and videos and helping to write some of our press releases and things like that. So kind of a cool job, but we have some other stuff we'll get into later in the podcast that we want to touch on. But yeah, Jamie, can you just start off by just telling us a little bit about yourself and kind of how you came to the department?
Yeah, totally. So I was raised in Nevada. I have experience with natural resources. I did some vegetation work after college and then ended up managing a wildfire preparedness program in the state. Had that outreach experience, natural resource experience, and then came here.
Nice. And so you've been with the department for how long now?
Oh, it's almost 2 years in July.
Wow.
Yeah.
Already.
I know, isn't that weird?
Goes fast. So, and then your role here at the department is over the publications. Do you want to talk to that a little bit, just in your own words?
Yeah, definitely. So I oversee the big game, small game, and fishing regulation publications. And then I also end up doing, small things like a one-pager here talking about what the department does, or, right now I'm working on the Guzzler Atlas. So those type of publications are what I oversee. Yeah,
so graphic design, layout, making it look pretty.
Photos, making things understandable to the audience. Yeah, all that.
Yeah, which is not always an easy task.
No.
As far as making it look like the finished product.
It is. You got to kind of translate what the biologists want to communicate. You got to figure out who you're communicating it to. Those are really big things that come into this job, which you wouldn't think about. But yeah, so I got to learn how to communicate all that stuff to the public.
Yeah, a lot of times they'll come in with this big lengthy report, or they'll come in with all these scientific names and
jargon.
That
you don't know what it
acronyms
means.
And things like that, and you have to make it sound
like English.
Yeah, like English. And then also have a nice pretty picture. And so a lot of time spent on the computer.
Oh, lots of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, the stuff that we put out as the department, or that comes out of your office, it always looks great. We always hear how, from the people that like, thank you for this or thank you for that. And such helpful information, and award-winning stuff comes out from the Department of Wildlife every year through different conferences and things like that. So, yeah, just wanted to tip my hat to that as well.
Well, hey, this is not just a one-person deal. This is a group effort. I have a lot of people helping in this. If it was just me, sure, I'd take the credit, but I can't.
Right.
So.
Yeah, speaking of group efforts, you had the unfortunate task of wrangling all the people for your latest, biggest project. Do you want to tell us about it?
Oh, yeah. So, like I said, this is probably my second round on doing these publications. And I noticed in the big game regulation books that we send out 2 books, right? The big game applications and season book in March, and then the big game the big game regulation and seasons book in May. And they're basically the same thing. And it's a lot of work, right? You have to, change things and have folks look at it. There's a lot of editing. It's got to circulate through a lot of folks. And I said, you know what? Why don't we just combine these? They're the same exact thing. And so back in September of last year, I was cutting and pasting things together and putting both books together and having folks look at it. And we just finished it, and it went public. So we combined those so that it can be suited better for people that are applying for big game applications. And then it also includes regulations for folks who have already obtained their big game tag.
Yeah, so for anybody that's listening, this was a huge undertaking. It's taking our applications book and our hunting regulations book, which were in the past were two, 100-page-ish books, and making them into one 100-page book or publication.
Yeah, I feel like you made it sound easy. And how many different opinions do you think you got for what should have been in the book and should not have been in the book?
You don't have to answer that.
Yeah, I'm still experiencing different opinions, and that's okay, right? Like, we want to have the best product possible.
I mean, we were just barely in there, and it felt like a traumatic experience. But over 20 people though, right?
Yeah,
with different feedback.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just to let people know, like, a lot of different people's opinions went into the book.
So for anybody that's listening that is a hunter looking to put in an application for big game, that is the book that has kind of red rocks with 4 sheep on the rocks looking down. Super cool picture. And that book that publication is the one you want to hang on to. So you're going to apply using that and then keep that, and that's going to be your regulations book. It has the seasons and everything already in it.
Totally. And one more thing is that, a lot of people ask me, well, what about the quotas? What happens when you guys update the quotas? If you look at that front cover, there's going to be a QR code next to a saying that says, keep this book. And in May, when the quotas are set, scan that QR code and it'll give you the updated quotas for 2026, 2027 big game. So, hold on to that book.
Yeah, so everything besides the quota is in that application book.
Correct.
Nice.
Yep, and as soon as it's uploaded onto the digital copy, that's what you're going to get. That's where the QR code's taking you, right?
Up to the e-rigs. So you're going to see the publication, and then you just got to, arrow down to the different pages where they have all the quotas, and those will be the updated ones. And that's going to happen in May.
Yeah, after the May commission meeting, those will be up. It also enables us to upload those faster. So the quotas will be posted faster, which certain percentage of hunters wait for that. But yeah, that'll be posted and should be accessible right after the May commission meeting. How do you feel like it turned out?
Oh, I think it's great. So it really helps us because it saves the department a big chunk of money because we're not producing 2 publications. We're only doing 1. And at some point during that publication process, somebody would come in and say, oh, we need to add this. And then this random piece of information was stuck on a different page. And it allowed us to really fix the layout, have all the information in one spot. So it flows easier and it saves us more money and time. A lot of people don't think about time. So typically during the big game publication editing process, I would start in December. And after I finished the application book, I would have to turn around and then start editing the regulation book that would come out in May.
Right.
And it was a lot of work, not only on my behalf, but other people too, other people's salaries and time. So it's saving a lot more than just like a chunk of money. It's saving time to be freed up to be focused on other efforts.
Yeah, great point. It is cost savings in the printing costs, but then also just time and energy to do two books. One other thing I wanted to mention is with this book is it kind of goes, we laid it out in a way, or you laid it out in a way where it's what you need to apply in the front, and then what you need to know like during your hunt or season dates, things like that. And then in the back is more what you need to do after your hunt is complete, and then also regulations and special notices and things like that at the end. So the layout is like really functional for people that kind of do this thing. So
Yeah, and it actually is it's advantageous and it's helpful for individuals who are just starting to hunt too, right? Like they don't know where things are and what the process is, and when you start off with like, how to apply and the different licenses, it really helps that individual to understand the process.
yeah, great point. All too often we get kind of in the weeds and these details on things, and it's good to kind of take a step back and kind of look at it from a new or like an entry level type perspective, because there's a lot that goes into applying in big game and in Nevada. So,
And we've never had such a good segue into the topic that I wanted to talk about, which is you are a new hunter.
Yes, I am.
How did that start? Where did that start? I know it's at least for us, a fascinating perspective to have in the building, because we're kind of too in the weeds sometimes, and that this is our world to an extent, and that we can't step back far enough to kind of have that fresh perspective, which is something you bring, and definitely I think benefits everybody. But what did that look like for you?
Yeah. And so I think before in my career before I was here at NDOW, I remember telling a coworker she had just drawn a deer tag, and she just had an infant daughter, and she was going to hunting. She's going to go hunting, and I was like, "Hey, when she gets older, you should really take her hunting." And she was like, "Well, why would you say that? Of course I'm going to take her hunting." And I was like, "Well, for me personally, like this is a story that I've experienced." So I actually was born in Idaho, and when we moved over in the mid '80s, my dad got a big game lifetime hunting license in Idaho, and every October he would go hunting. And my sisters never really liked venison or hunting, and so my dad just assumed that I wouldn't want, and maybe I should have communicated that to him better, because I know he would have taken me, but I always wanted to go and I never did. And so whenever I got the chance to tell people or found out if people had a daughter, I'd tell them, "Hey, you got to take your daughter hunting."
mm-hmm.
I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
This is where it came up for me, was you said that to me, and I said, well, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I think the opposite might be the problem, actually. But
And I didn't even know Bobby at the time, right? I was like, "Hey, you got to take your daughter hunting."
Yeah, you just got here.
And so we got to talking, and Bobby's like, "Hey, well, you should go hunting if you want to." And I was like, "Oh, well, geez, why not?" Yeah. So I ended up going to a game processing workshop in the spring of 2025, and so
Put on by the Department of Wildlife.
Yep.
it was
You
put
went to
on.
one of our classes.
Yeah, it was one of our classes. It was done with the University of Nevada Cooperative Extension, and basically they would harvest a sheep that was on their farm,
Mm-hmm.
and then you would learn how to process that sheep. And so I had never done any of this stuff before. We did about an hour's worth of the like classroom stuff, and then they put us out there in groups. And me personally, I don't have any problem diving headfirst into something new and learning something new. And so the group was kind of shocked to see these freshly harvested sheep, and they're like, "Okay, who wants to start?" And I was like, "I don't care, I'll do it." So I just dove right in. And so I ended up skinning the sheep. I performed the gutless method on the sheep. It was really, really exciting. We learned about different cuts. We ended up, what's it called? Just taking all the meat and putting it in paper and processing,
wrapping it up,
There
and
we go.
getting it ready for
Getting it
put in the
ready.
freezer, Yeah.
Yeah. And after that, I was pumped, you guys. Like, I was so excited to go apply.
I didn't expect for this to be a big plug for our wild game butchering classes, but
Oh, it
you're
is.
doing a good job.
Yep.
Oh, it was amazing. I was so excited, you guys. And so I only had like 5 days left to apply before application deadline. And so I busted through my online hunter's ed and in one day. And then I ended up applying. And I didn't get a tag, but then I got a first come, first serve. And I was so excited, so excited to do that. But the problem with first come, first serve, right, is like you only have such a short, quick amount of time to do this big,
A very quick turnaround. if
Yeah,
you
to
a
get
tag.
ready.
big event,
Yeah.
right? I had already planned a family vacation, and so I basically had like a week to prepare for this. But I ended up borrowing so much stuff from individuals. I borrowed a lot from Bobby, actually.
Oh,
Clothing.
we were so happy to like give you or loan you hunting stuff.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
an easy,
So
that's
excited.
an easy
Couldn't wait.
thing.
Yeah.
Also common.
Yeah.
so excited. Yeah, the clothing, binoculars, game bags, cooler, even
Yep.
ice packs. I borrowed a rifle. I had never even shot a rifle, you guys. Like I just went after it. My brother-in-law is a marksman, and so he would give me pointers. He took me out to the range. We shot. Every morning that week, I would do jumping jacks to get my heart rate up to mimic like buck fever,
Uh-huh.
and then I would do dry firing for an hour in my living room just to get ready. And we drove out, and I actually pulled a antlered mule deer first come first serve in the 07s, and I stayed in a
Area
hotel.
7, yep.
Yep. And yeah, I went out there and tried doing went to the range and got my confidence up shooting there, and then went out. I only had Friday afternoon, Saturday, and Sunday
Mhm.
for this hunt. And it was incredible, you guys. Just getting out there in nature. I haven't done that in years. You know, I used to be involved in restoration efforts for re-veg projects, and I forget how incredible it is to be out there in the wilderness. Like all of the stress just like rolls off your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. No cell phone service? Pfft, sign me up. Yeah.
Yeah, Area 7's beautiful.
Oh, it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't end up harvesting. But it was amazing, right? What I learned was like you it's not about harvesting, it's really about the experience,
Right.
and it was incredible.
But you did get to mix it up with some deer, and you saw a deer, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
You got the full experience.
I got the full experience.
Yeah, just because you didn't harvest doesn't mean it wasn't a successful hunting season.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Learned a lot.
Learned a lot. I'll tell you what, it's so weird when you go hunting and then you come back to like urban.
It's the worst.
No.
It's
Normal
the
life.
worst. You come in, you're
It's
like,
the
where
worst.
am I? What am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing with my life?
Yeah, I used to tell a story about we would go to the spot that had no cell coverage. Nobody ever went there. It was pretty remote spot in Nevada, no cell phone, all that. And you would come back, and the first lady you would see was the mail lady. She would wave, but yeah, it's weird coming back to
It's so weird.
civilization.
What else was surprising, or maybe something you didn't anticipate?
Oh, surprising. Yeah, I didn't, I'd never hunted before. I didn't realize that I should be that quick. We came upon some deer that were bedded down, and one buck stood up, and I didn't really want him. I had a good shot. He was up there for a while. I had a great shot, but I didn't take it. And then I thought I saw one that came up that I really wanted, and I didn't take it quick enough because I was like, oh, the first one was up for a while. Well, I have enough time. I learned that. Honestly, the most surprising thing was just like it's all about the experience, and I can imagine how incredible it would be to go with like a group of friends and just go camping and just have a blast camping and then go out hunting.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, one of my best friends, her husband hunts. And I was like, we all need to go together. This would be fun.
I'm just so excited, coming from the side and kind of watching you. You've already got into it, right, with the I'm willing to jump in. And a lot of people, I think, are in your shoes, but they never take the step to go or to, like, they never went to the butchering class, or they finished hunter ed but they didn't apply, or they applied and got a tag, or they gave it back, and they just didn't put all the pieces together, and you got to do the experience. And it's so funny that I have a feeling that the experience will pay off for a long time at work, in real life, and that there's probably tons and tons of people in your shoes or similar shoes that, like, maybe it didn't work out for them when they're younger, but now they're at a point in life they can kind of direct the path, but just haven't taken that next step. So it's really cool to hear that it was a satisfying experience, and that
and
you want to do it again.
For me, I'm almost glad you didn't get one. Like, it's almost better that way, because
Really?
Yeah, I just don't want
Gives
it
you
to be that
perspective,
easy. I
right,
don't want it to
yeah.
be that. It's not easy.
No, it's not easy.
Not everybody goes out and harvests. So it's, in some ways, it's like, yeah, that's how it is. That's reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And so-
I think a lot of the focus gets put on that, and that you can have the best hunt ever and not come home with an animal. And I don't know. Something about what Keller's getting out of it being hard.
Yeah.
Like, you almost want it to be hard. Everybody complains that the sage grouse are standing in the middle of the road, and then, they're complaining when the deer isn't. But, like, I think the experience is getting out there and doing
Yeah,
the
somewhere
stuff.
in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah, you won't appreciate it as much.
Yeah.
If it was that easy. Yeah.
And so now looking back, what's one thing you want to learn about this year before?
Oh my gosh, you guys! I thought it would be really cool to do archery. I think it'd be so rad to do that. I was just I was doing any legal weapon rifle hunt before. I think archery would be so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be way harder. I mean, you have to get closer and like hike in more. I don't know.
It is a lot harder.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
you're not wrong
pretty
about
rad.
any of that stuff.
Yeah, that's all
Pretty
true.
rad.
Uh-huh.
I was gonna, to your point, Bobby. Like, to be honest, if I would have just gotten like a regular tag, I think I would have been scared more. I would have been in my head more. But that first come first serve tag, and like 0 time to prepare, I had to dive in. I had to figure it out. I remember, like, I called up my husband and told me, and he's like, "What the heck?" He's the planner, and I'm the one that just runs off the seat of my pants. Yeah. He's like, "Jamie, you've no time to prepare," and I was like, "No, we'll figure it out. We're fine."
That is kind of the beauty of first come first serve.
Yeah,
it makes you do that.
It makes you do that. You can't think. You just got to go.
And if you want to hunt, that's a really good way to get out there.
Yeah, and you pointed it out. I think people who come to hunting as adults are wanting to be so prepared that it becomes a bigger thing than, when you're 14 and going with your parents, that, they're helping you get a bunch of the stuff together. You don't know what you don't know. And, like, I'm laughing thinking of you sitting for an hour in your house before you go to work, dry firing, like, practicing. Like, there's not, I mean, I wasn't doing that when I was 14. No. Like, I didn't know what dry firing was. I mean,
right.
I just, like, that wasn't even on the radar.
It's adult stuff.
Yep.
And so I really hope that other people can see, like, hey, I'm not a spring chicken, right? Like, I'm in the middle of my life. I have a young family, and, like, I just dove into it, and you can too. Like, I hope other people will see that experience and do it too. It's incredible. It's worth it.
Yep. So, now coming back full circle, and now you're working on this huge project, the book. How much did you learn about hunting now that you know kind of what the words are in the book, and you're seeing the season dates and the quotas and the things like that?
It definitely makes more sense now,
yeah.
Right? Because I'd be like, I don't really know what this, like, what quotas set. Right. What do we okay?
Yeah.
Why do we need to include, like, all of the quotas from last year? And now I understand. Well, it's going to help people decide what hunt they're going to apply to, and all of those, some could have a slight variation, but, like, people need to use that for guidance. Yeah, it did help me professionally for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just focused more personally because it was such an incredible experience, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, definitely. Are you gonna try and go back to Area 7, or you got a different spot in mind?
I don't know.
Or what do you think?
It was funny. I was talking to my husband about this because he actually drove out on Saturday. He couldn't take time off work that quickly. He drove out on Saturday. Actually, no, Friday night after work. He showed up and he hiked with me and another individual, and my dad was back at the truck, and he waited. And my husband loved being out there hiking. He was like, "Oh, I'll totally do that again."
Huh.
It was funny though. He said, "But Jamie, you cannot do first come first serve."
He says that now, and then he don't want to tag.
That's
What?
funny.
I'm gonna call him up. I got first come first serve again.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Oh, that's the best.
His little planning heart was upset. No, please don't. Just try to draw a tag.
Now, it's funny, and this is to the full circle bit, is Janice is 9.
My daughter, yeah.
Okay, so you've got a few years before she's eligible. Is this in the cards now of like maybe it ends up you get to be that person for your daughter? Is that anything you've thought about yet?
Oh yeah. And so I wanted her to come at back in the trip in October. And I wasn't even going to make it an option. I was going to be like, "Hey, we're all going hunting."
Uh-huh.
But my husband, he gave her the option. "Oh, do you want to stay back with your aunt and your grandma, or do you want to stay? You want to come with us?" Yeah, I know.
You've got time.
I know. I've got time now. But
Yep.
yeah, she's totally going to come. She's just going to come and appreciate it. And I hope she likes it. I mean, just being introduced to it, I think, is incredible.
Yeah, and I was just hoping that was a plus for you of like, hey, now that I've taken the step, it's going to feel maybe a little different when you're encouraging people to take their kids or like give this a shot. Or
She actually is into archery now. I had told her once that I was teaching kids how to do archery, and she got so excited. And she's like, "Well, I want to do that." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So she is, taking a step in that direction. She loves archery. We had to quit this season for basketball, but she wants to go back this summer.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're wrapping up a little bit now. Is there anything that we'll just kind of give you the floor? Anything you want to say to the people that are listening? Anything that you need from them? One thing I know you want to put out is a request for some media.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So I'm always looking for pictures, whether it's harvest pictures, whether it's wildland or wildlife pictures, all in the state of Nevada. Fishing, we do the fishing rig too. Why don't you go ahead and send that? The front cover of this big game publication is somebody from Southern Nevada, and he did an incredible job. But I'm always looking for pictures. You can send us pictures by going to the homepage and then go down to the footer, so the bottom of the homepage, and it's going to say submit photos here, and you can just click there, and that's the easiest way to submit photos.
So you're talking on NDOW.org.
NDOW.org. Go to our homepage, go down the footer, submit a photo, and you can do it from your phone.
Yeah.
It'll be in the queue, which is exactly where we need it to be. So please, please, please send those photos.
So you're looking for hunting, fishing,
wildlife.
landscape,
all in
wildlife.
Nevada,
Anything.
high quality,
Right.
no filters. So when I say high quality, I mean just like not fuzzy.
Highest quality possible.
Yeah, highest
Yeah.
quality
But
possible.
your phone is good enough. The phone
Yeah.
pictures are pretty good now.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah,
They're
because
really
we use
good.
them for photos for everything. We're not just talking publications. It could be anything.
Anything.
And,
It could be like a banner. It could be
Trying to get
social
kids
media.
fishing, like
Mhm.
social media posts. We have our youth free fishing license that we give away. We try and get kids fishing and use other kids that have caught fish and smiling faces to try to promote that. So we're
Yeah.
always looking for stuff.
Yeah. Another thing is that like I actually love to be challenged. I always want to have like the best quality product, and so like if folks think anything else should go in the publication, like I am really down for feedback, constructive criticism, right?
Yep.
You can always email us at ndowinfo.ndow.org, and maybe there's an idea that we haven't thought of, and we could put that in the next regulation publication. So
Yeah, that's great. So thanks for all of that, Jamie.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. I know there was a lot of info in there, but it's all good stuff. And thanks, Bobby, coming and hanging out. Yeah. Pretty cool stuff. All about the publication, all about Jamie. If you want to learn a little bit more, go to our website, click around. Please submit some photos. We would love to use them.
Sign up for Hunter Ed classes.
Hunter Ed classes, yep. So we're coming up on our big game application season or period. Opens just a few days. So everybody get your apps in and reach out. We got all sorts of cool seminars like Jamie took, big game butchering, or wild game butchering, wild game cooking. We got big game application strategy, webinars and seminars we put on. We're just trying to get all this information out, and make sure you pick up your publication from any NDOW office. It's the one, it has red rocks, has some sheep on it, beautiful photo. Yeah, thank you everyone for listening, and that does it for this week's Nevada Wild.
Join us again next week for our next adventure, Nevada Wild. It's a production of the Nevada Department of Wildlife.